already then. Oh my goodness. Diet Dr. Pepper. I don't know how I feel about that because it's a competing brand to our well-beloved Diet Coke. Our beloved Diet Coke. Hi Science, good to see you guys. I'm running a little late. My friend Kelly was here and I made breakfast and I was showing her we watched a video on Victoria Falls from like a tourist blog, The Real Place by Real People on YouTube, on my big screen over there. And then I was showing her the VOD from yesterday and how we found we were flying around there and checking out the canyon and flying. We saw the giraffe running around and we saw a bunch of herd of elephants running around. All right, well, Diet Coke. All right, you have Diet Coke or you like Diet Coke too. Well, that's not enough. I mean, you literally have to go to the store right now. First Diet Coke of the day and last, as I like to say. But yes, I see your comment there. You got your color and your beautiful black Turtle Beach yoke quadrant. I have the beautiful blue Bluetooth controller, all right, which I think is a little. It sounds to me from that comment that you're starting to think about becoming a streamer somehow. Maybe you should be a streamer. You can start up every streamer going, "Hey, I got my ice cold Dr. Pepper, Diet Dr. Pepper, and your beautiful black Turtle Beach." You know what I mean? You're ready to go here. Captain Morgan. Now that would be a fun stream too. You know what I mean? I don't trust myself to drink and stream. It's never happened before. Plus my time frame, you know, I don't like to, I do have my whiskey and this is a weekend day. Can't stand Dr. Pepper. Please be nice in chat. I don't want to have to get in there and mediate things. I have a small enough community as it is. Try to be nice to each other. Dr. Pepper is good too. Anyway, yeah, so yesterday's show, I was watching it and it's a really good show, which is a problem because how am I going to do that every single time? You know what I mean? I got to make sure my expectations are staying low. Anyway, there will be, again, tomorrow is a holiday. I have nothing going on this afternoon. I plan on streaming for a couple of hours. We'll be flying around a Microsoft Flight Simulator. I got 2020 booted up. We're going to visit the ranch today, maybe a couple other places. Well, you don't necessarily, yes. I mean, okay, there's an advantage to knowing tech stuff if you're going to be a streamer, absolutely. And I know tech stuff and computer stuff, but I also, very early in my career, that's good to know. Hey, I think Miatas are terrible cars. I'm just kidding with you. I would never. I don't even believe. You can tell I don't believe that. But I could try. I could try to hurt your feelings. No, I'm just. Anyway, I'm not trying to hurt anybody. Just, I'm looking at myself on screen. I'm looking at what is going on here. Nobody wants to see this. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, so I'll be flying around. There's going to be the big brain games. There's no Skibbity toilet today, but I was watching yesterday, and apparently our friend came in and said 79.3. I would like to. Actually, you know, I don't think I've driven a Miata. I do have a friend who had a Gen 1 Miata, red one. I think it was, yeah, no, it was the original one, 1991, I think. It's probably might still have it, and I think the manual, I think I drove that a bit. They're so tiny. Yes, we did see the pictures from yesterday with them all lined up. I guess there were like 15 or something visible, and yeah, it's just, you know, it's just amazing. You think you're kind of, for a second, you think you're in a car lot, you know, you're in a Mazda lot, but then they're all different years. That wouldn't even make sense. But it's really cool that there's you know, there's a club, and there's probably all over the world, really. I imagine there's Miata clubs. Yeah, I think it's a big thing in Japan. People mod their Miatas and they put those LED lights on the bottom and super lowered. There's quite a car culture over Japan. All right, we got to get to things. Let's see, what are we looking at here? After the break, there'll be a break. We'll switch to the musical category. Today I have retrieved my fancy cheap guitar, which, as I mentioned, I'm going to be playing a lot because I'm trying to see how much, how immune it is to fret wear, given that it's the only guitar I have that has the stainless steel frets. Also, you know, I figure if I play this guitar a lot, it'll save wear on my other guitars. But yeah, it's a good player. I'm enjoying playing it a lot. Now that I got it set up just like I like it. So, okay, where we are, we're in 2024. I got the controller. I got my throttle body. I'm looking through the let's see, the store, the Microsoft Marketplace. Available to rent. I ain't renting any planes. Thank you. There's a big helicopter, the S-76C. I'm not getting any helicopters from Cowan Simulation unless it gets a 4.9 or better. But I think there's, nobody's enjoying the helicopters in the game that much. So I'm certainly I'm not going to pay $38 for one. You know what I mean? There, before I buy a helicopter as an add-on, there better be some free ones that actually work really well. The yoke is set up. Yeah, yokes are kind of a pain to set up, but usually there is usually they kind of automatically detect typical aviation hardware. It definitely automatically detects the Logitech the $50 Logitech triple throttle unit I have, which is so handy. I mean, I can't imagine flying unless I'm flying one of the simplest planes. I can't imagine not using this throttle body. All right, we know where we're gonna go. I already just made a command decision, and we're sticking with it. For the first flight, we're gonna see where. What the condition of my Circle B Ranch in Kemmerer, Wyoming, which is also right next to, as I like to call it, Diet Cokeville Municipal Airport. We just leave the diet off, but it is Diet Cokeville. All right, not in the Magni Gyro. We were flying that yesterday, so we're gonna pick something that we have not flown around in this area and may not even think of as a like a bush flying plane. But let's see. We've thrown these guys here, definitely. I hope it's not too... we can get something smaller, we can find out if it'll fit in there. But even a lot of these are too big. The Curtis Jenny. The Curtis Jenny. Have we flown the Jenny? It's really hard to fly. All right. But I don't think we've flown this one. We flew the other biplane, which is also really hard to fly. Okay, yeah, it's the only right? It's the only livery. Okay, it's fine. We're not paying for. Let's just see if it'll even take off from the dirt strip. All right. Circle B Ranch. All right. Runway 26. Yeah, okay. We gotta spin around the globe here. I wonder what it's like, but basically, I want to make sure to visit the ranch on a regular basis, because especially as it gets to be fall and winter, there should be quite a lot of differences into the appearance over time. Eventually, once we get to winter, I mean, it's up at 6,000 feet, over 6,000 feet elevation. I expect that it will be obviously quite iced out, fully snow covered. All right, let's see what we got here. Ready to fly. Let's just take a look at the ground situation here. Looks like we got a little bit of wind. Beautiful day, time of day, and weather are according to the realism, I believe. I'm gonna double check that. Live weather, Sunday the 31st of August. Believe it or not, tomorrow is September. That's a holiday. And we have live weather available, selected, a beautiful clear day. Probably not super hot, but just gorgeous. I love my ranch. And that's the ranch. We're going to explore the ranch a little bit more. But you see the pen, there's cattle pens, there's loading on the cattle truck, there's a lot of custom farm equipment. And down at the far end there is a barn that we can probably try to fly through, but let's just fly around a bit. It looks good, but if we look up close, we'll probably find that the people who've been working here have made a mess of everything. All right, so how do we take off on this thing? We're going to advance this. Does this have a parking brake? It does have a parking brake. All right, so the important thing here is to stay on the runway. That's full power from what I got. It's not a very powerful device. I'm not 100% sure. Well, you'd think it would be designed to be able to take off on dirt. It's definitely a wider wingspan than I kind of anticipated. It's one of the wider wingspan planes we've tried to even try to get off here. Right around here, if we're going to fly, it should fly. But I don't think it is gonna. That's full engine. You know what I think the problem is? We're over altitude. Yeah. I don't think it's gonna fly. Not at this altitude. We're gonna try a different plane. Oh, that was fun though. The dealio is, you know what? Now we're here in the air. Put us in the air. But at this altitude is really high for any plane, because we're starting. It's over 7,000 feet. But biplanes, and especially these older ones, just don't really. They just don't get enough lift, and In addition, there's the effect that the high altitude reduces your horsepower to these engines, and they're already not that powerful. Why are you buzzing me? Getting this continuous buzzing on my controller. Am I over speed? Okay, and I wasn't over speed. I don't know what that buzzing was. But we're gonna try a different plane because yeah, it's not all it's not all the, you know, over some that you some of your I'm assuming your comment was about the yoke. I don't think we can get through the barn here. Now, you definitely couldn't see. You can't see ahead of you. There's no chance of doing this from the inside. Whoa! Wait, I'm just barely flying here, which is not a bad thing. I'm kind of rolling, not as much as flying here. That wasn't necessarily what I'd call a successful run. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm just above stall speed, trying to climb at about 200 feet per minute. And then whenever you turn, of course, you lose a lot of lift. So even slight turns cause you to kind of lose any vertical speed you had. And this is full power from the engine. It doesn't get any more full than that. And there we go. We're settling down into the smashing area. All right, let's try a more fun airplane. I just don't think it's set up for these conditions. But it was an interesting experiment. We'll try something a little more again designed for these kind of operations. All right, we gotta go back here. Kind of pain that you can't set favorites. All right, we're going to switch to a different plane. Have we done the Cap 4? Well, it doesn't matter. Let's try it now. This one at least comes in, I believe it comes in a couple different colors. We probably have, I just, you know, my memory isn't good enough that I'm going to be able to memorize every single variation of every single plane we've tried. All right, bright yellow, because why not? Did I try out Victoria's in 2020? Oh, really? I probably don't want to. You check it out in 2020. You know, now that I've seen, because I get it. Because I want to really spend a lot more time with in 2024. But I just want to give it a couple of days. We'll do it, you know, like every week or two. But yeah, no, I know. You know, I've seen pictures of it and things like that. All right, I think this plane is a much better sort of bush operations plane. Which effectively is what you need, or kind of ranch operations in this case. I feel like I need some Diet Coke right now. Yep, that's what I needed. There we go. I think this plane is also, as I say, you know, doesn't need as much air swing. All right, is this working here? There we go. Okay, there. All right, do I have what's going on here? Okay, yeah. All right, so there's a mixture control. There's no propeller control. There's a throttle control. Is that wooden thing there. Let's see. Trim is pretty good. Parking brake off. Full power. Let's just keep it down the center line here. Nice simple plane. Doesn't have any flaps. Like almost most planes do. Okay, comes off nicely. At least we're building up speed unlike the previous plane. You can actually take off. That's a nice thing. Almost full power. So normally what I like to do is make this sweeping right turn, and then we'll check out there. By the way, you can see there's some birds flying around for realism. There's some hawks in the area. There's a bear somewhere. Still haven't found it. All right, this is, by the way, you can see how long this whole area is the landing strip. I do want a little bit of positive trim here. We haven't figured out where the bear is, but it's really hard. And also, so you know, with Victoria Falls, I bet there's a bunch more wildlife areas to check out. But the other thing is just the basic thing is that, you know, there's the falls, and then there's that Z-shaped back and forth thing, and then the canyons just go nuts. But it goes quite a ways down. That detail with we saw people whitewater rafting. You know, I want to do that whole. I guess it's 26 miles. It's gonna take you know 15 or 20 minutes just to get to that at the end of that canyon section. So I always like to run down here. There's some outbuildings here. You got your feed hoppers, or fertilizer hoppers. I don't know what's kind of here. There's a house. There's another little barn out there. What's our speed? We're going slow. Again, it's a challenge to fly any kind of plane like this at this altitude. But this is an ultralight plane. I mean, or it's a yeah. I mean, considered ultralight, I believe. It's weight class, very very light, very simple design on the inside. But yeah, basically, you have to give it basic. I'm gonna say almost full power to leave it on. And again, that's because we're operating at such high altitudes. All right, we're gonna try to go through the barn. Last time it was easy getting through the barn just because we were going so slow. This plane we should be going a little faster. But we're gonna drive right down the center of the ranch area here. Yeah, this is I purchased this I think $13 add-on content, and it's based on a real place in Wyoming, the Circle B Ranch, which we did some research and apparently found out at some point it was in the Disney family. But it's a ranch that's got pretty much everything. It's got cattle. There's a dude our dude with the wheelbarrow down there. It's got cattle. There's some dogs. It's got farm equipment. It's got these large irrigation areas where they're growing crops. Although they may just be growing cattle feed, by the way. Sometimes ranches that have cattle and horses, need that area to grow for the animal, just for animals. But they are probably commercially producing something else besides cattle feed. Easy through the barn. Dang old. All right, and then there's another house out here. I don't feel like this is the most aerobatic plane in the world, but it certainly has there's a certain feeling of stability to it. I don't remember if we've ever flown this plane before. Certainly not at the ranch. So there's the other set of houses. But you know what we haven't done? We haven't checked out. We're gonna check out the plane campers up there. They're not car campers. For this, we're really gonna need full power. Oh, I think I was over mixing it is the problem. Here we go. We're getting some more power here. So adjusting my mixture. My mixture is this, where that interior is that one, right? And then there's, what's this thing? Oh. Alright, it's up here. We're gonna have to go through this pass here. Gain some altitude. And then hopefully we can land. There's basically a little pond there, and there's some people camping out there. They got a plane. They're checking things out. Yeah, there's corn that's used, not even to feed animals, but just for fuel, really, because there's a lot of uses for corn, and there's a lot of corn that's grown that it becomes chemically processed to become highly saturated corn syrup, enriched sweetened corn syrup, that stuff that they put in foods instead of sugar. Corn ethanol. Yeah, that's what they burn in the cars, but there's a lot of there's an incredible amount of corn. But yeah, there's corn that goes to your table. That's kind of like the elite corn, but a lot of it is used for feed, and might be processed in some way. But yeah, if you're a ranch and you're going to need a lot of cattle feed, it's going to save a lot of money if you can also grow all the feed right there. So I kind of think that's what they're doing, but I don't know. So we're not going to go over there. It's right here. We're going to have to get up all the way up here. I'm just trying to fly the plane here. It's right ahead of us. The issue is if we can land on this little area here. Well, actually, it's so far away, but there's definitely high fructose corn syrup, HFCS, which if you look up, that's what they put in Coke instead of sugar, although they're supposed to be changing it back to sugar. But fructose is vegetable sugar, so they grow corn. But then it's they grow corn that's especially sweet, but then it's processed. It's completely processed chemically. All right, I'm gonna try to land because I know it's kind of this area down here is kind of smooth, and I want to kind of land not too far from that oasis down there. All right, we want to pass over this area here though. Oops. I guess we landed here. That's fine. We'll just kind of... Hold on. Slow down. Slow down. Slow down. It's downhill. That's fine. Just gonna use a little light braking. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. This is where we came from up that hill. And the engine stopped. Which is good because I set the throttle to 0. Hopefully we can get there. Oh, we're right here. That was some good... the Wilga. I don't have that one. You guys don't appreciate that I just landed on that ridge and coasted down the hill to within about 100 feet of my destination. All right, everyone out of the plane. We're gonna say hi to these people. The models, what they physically look like. So there's this tiny oasis. They got this little plane over here. How they got in? There's 3 of them. How they got in a plane that clearly can only hold 2 people? I don't know. Maybe one was hanging on to the wing from the top, you know. But there's 3 people. And this person looks really a little overdressed for camping. She does not. Boy, this is an interesting group. It's a different set of human models every time. Except for her. Same one every time. Don't know why. I'm kind of in love. Come on. That's a pretty face right there. I kind of have a thing. Let's just not talk about it, okay? We're very much... We're thinking about doing the deed, is all I'm saying. All right, let's move on. So we've got some... I believe these, see how it's blue and red? Sometimes it's yellow and green, you know what I mean? Different color tints every time. But this is, okay, it is what it is. We said hello, good to see you guys again. Hope you're having a lovely time camping. Let's see if we can start this plane up and get the heck out of here. I don't know. All right, so if we're in here, okay, click, all right, this has an external prop throw. But first you got to give it about the right amount of mixture. And then we're going to have, you go outside, you throw the prop. Whoops. Brakes. I don't know if it has a parking brake. Oh, it does. Okay, parking brake on. Beautiful. All right, so what's our plan? Are we going to kind of go to the right here around those rocks? I think that's what we're going to kind of do here. Hopefully we can steer on this dirt here. I don't know. We're definitely hitting some issues steering here. I might have to use my magical movement system, what we call the slew. Yeah, I'm not going into that lake. I just don't want to go over those rocks there. I'm having trouble kind of turning here. There's definitely something wrong because which I'm not surprised, because the turn is that little. You got that little thing on the back which doesn't have any weight on it. I think we'll be able to not hit a rock here, but just barely. See that? Try to not hit the rocks. See, once we're clear of these rocks, it's nice and smooth out here. And there's a long way. We can go a long way. But as far as I know, there's no like official takeoff and landing spot here. But let's give it a whirl. Okay, full power. Full power. Nose comes forward. We got we got air into the wings. Not much because we're at over 6,000 feet, 6,800 feet. So don't try to get a lot of altitude quick. We're at 7,200 feet at this point. So you might think, oh, well, we got to go back this way, which we do. So I'll just make a nice sharp turn. Bad idea. I've tried it before. You're not gonna be able to make a real sharp turn. Just because as soon as you get those wings at an angle, you start to lose any possibility of gaining altitude, and in fact, you start sinking like a rock. So you want to make a real slow sweeping turn, and use your rudder. That way, you don't have to turn the wing too much. Keep the wing at a most about a 15-degree angle, and just let the rudder turn you. Because I'm basically at full power here. There's no blasting our way out of this situation here. But we're at the highest altitude we need to be right here, 7,500 feet. And 7,500 feet in an unpressurized cockpit is kind of way up there. And this is unpressurized. All right, we'll make a little pass over the oasis here. And again, it's really amazing. It's quite detailed, but from any kind of distance, you could just barely see that there's anything down there. You got to know it's there. It's the big wilderness. But with these trails here, I guess it's possible to get a four-wheel drive vehicle up here, possibly, I would think. But they clearly flew in. You can see my little path down the hill there, by the way. That's in the game there now, permanently. Not permanently, but you know what I'm saying. but we landed, I think. This is in Wyoming. Yeah, this is central Wyoming. Yeah, I think you get it in 2020 and 24. There's a 2020 asset and a 2024 asset, and I think I know that because if you look in 2024 and you have it, it says the 2020 Circle B Ranch is permanently disabled. I was like, oh, that's not good. But then the 2024 Circle B Ranch is also in there, so it's one of those where I think you do get two separate things if you buy it once. Because I definitely did not buy it twice. But again, I'm excited. We're not gonna advance time, but I'm excited to see what the winter months look like around here. And they are now, not too far away now, so that's why we're checking it out. Still quite green in this area, beautiful. Lots of coniferous trees here. And then we're back. You can see the Circle B Ranch consists of what? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these circular irrigation systems. Well, this is definitely not the most remote place in the world, but it's definitely out there. I mean, if you want to work on a ranch, you want to be a ranch worker, and I think there's kind of maybe a romantic aspect of it. It's romantic. All right. Oh, we want to go through the barn if we can one more time, and then I'm going to land, and then we're going to check out and see if there's a lot of trash lying around because I haven't been here in a while. Okay, we're gonna go out here. We're gonna go through the barn. It's a barnstorming kind of situation. If I knew if they had other assets in the game like this that were designed for barnstorming, I'm pretty sure there are. I just don't necessarily know what they are. But if you find out if there are other, I can probably do some research. Find out there are other places that you could buy that have these cool barns, because I am getting a kick out of it. All right, let's try to do it. It's actually easier to do it from the outside, but let's try to do it from the inside. Because it's a little easier, it's a little harder to judge speed. Yeah, well, I'm going to be, yeah, look, that's fine, but we've already made an issue about it that, we can dock your pay, that's all I'm saying. So if you see your paycheck is a little light next week, there might be some miscellaneous reimbursements, fees applied, you know what I'm saying? So I would recommend cleaning up your own pizza and beer, frankly, but we'll just see, and that's my discretion as ranch owner. Okay, we're coming in nice and low. I don't want to hit the fence, but I also don't want to hit the roof. And boom. I should get my recorder on. I keep forgetting to do that. Easy peasy. This is a very easy one to do. All right, we're going to land. So what we're going to do is we're going to come landing the opposite direction that we took off. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's land into the ranch. It doesn't matter. There's not a lot of wind. Technically, that's not into the wind. We'll go down this way. We're going to make a turn. We're going to land into the ranch on the little dirt field there. What are we doing? About 55 knots. This is not a fast plane, which is nice. We're going to check that out. We're going to see exactly what kind of situation it is on the ground. We're going to get out of the plane. We're going to look around. We're going to, check for damages. See if anybody's been leaving graffiti on my barn. That's the thing. As a ranch owner, if you're not around, the ranch hands will go crazy. They will. They're just not. They're not a responsible group of people, from what I can tell. All right, let's just see. So there's one. By the way, you can see the irrigation system, which is actually moving and dumping water. They move in a circle. It's pretty cool. You can watch them do their thing. If I parked my plane there one time and the irrigation thing came over and knocked the plane over, which is pretty cool. Because, yeah, they actually are in the game physically moving around. All right, we're going to make this turn here. But again, anytime you turn your plane, get ready to sink like a stone. Because you do not have a lot of air. But I don't want to... Okay, this is what it looks like from here. It's a little easier to figure out from here. Okay, I'm just watching my airspeed kind of carefully. Get a nice lineup on this little area here. We haven't done too many of these landings at night. You should be able to because there's these barrels that mark this course here. You kind of see them, they're flaming. They're always flaming, but at night they should be quite visible. Okay, we're coming in kind of low. Here's the little thingy when you cross the fence. Reduce power a little more. A little gentle. Stay in the middle kind of situation here. Reduce the power entirely. Well, see, I keep remembering if I cut my throttle entirely, it will shut the engine down entirely, and I want to keep going. It wasn't a terrible landing. All right, we're gonna go up to where the people are hanging out. It's like it looks like from here. Yeah, neither of those views are really that realistic. But I would definitely say if I were this is a perfectly good plane to fly in kind of ranch dirt ranch operation. Not the best one. I mean, they have ones that have sprayer. You know, like they might have irrigation sprayers. Okay, gently brake here, brake. It's a tail dragger, so you have to be very careful. That if you brake really hard, it'll go around its front, like all tail draggers, and this one will do that too. You hear the cows though, isn't that cool? Like in Victoria Falls, they have those sound effects of the falls. Here, when you get, you know, like, well, I'll show you. All right, we're stopping here. You can see there's some dirt coming out from the back. All right, we're gonna shut off the aeroplano. Okay, shut that off. Where is there like a magneto? Usually there's a magneto, but I'm not even. Doesn't it have one? Peso maximum permito. Let's see, because I don't know. This is a very simple plane. There's that. That's the trim. You got mixture. I guess, you know, mixture to there. Oh, that's carb heat. That's your throttle. Let's see if there's anything over here. Can you even open this door? Can you open this door? Oh, you can open the door. Okay, if I open the door, will it put me outside the plane? No, it just opens the door. That's kind of cool. Pullman neighborhood of Chicago. Oh, that's an interesting idea. That is an interesting. I just want to see if there's a master on-off switch on this plane. I don't know if there is. Not all planes do. So I'm checking it out. Oh yeah, back here. Oh, interesting. This is a very unusual main battery switch is there. I almost never fly this plane because that's a surprise to me. You know what I mean? I would have remembered that. It does have an electrical panel. All right, let's walk around the. We're gonna walk around okay, we're out. This is the outside view here. This is the free view. So I'll show you some of the features of the thing. Of course, you got your this is the barn that you can't fly through. It's got all your license plates from all the states, and my God, that is highly detailed. You got an antique refrigerator. Don't put your Diet Coke in there; it will not stay cold. I have a feeling. You got your fuel, your ancient gas pump with a spider webs on it. You know, I mean, you got a triple blade propeller that looks like you probably shouldn't use. Patriot aircraft. You got a one of them old style farm implements there. Bunch of things. The number 42. Something here like keys or something. I'm not really sure. Bells. Not really sure what that is, and that's fine. Here's your fellow. This is a guy with a wheelbarrow. All he does is go back and forth. He goes from there to there. He's whistling though. You hear him? All right. And if we go in here, speaking of sound effects, you got an ATV, bunch of heaters. Gets cold in the winter. Those heaters are going to be needed. This is the guy, and there's always different horses here. This is the guy. He's in the saddle shop here, and he likes his country music. He does, and we let him listen to country music because, you know, a good saddle man's hard to find. I don't even know if that's a term. All right, moving on. You can see here the cows mooing. They're over there. So we got cows. They're different pens. I think you keep the male cows, the female cows separated. When they need to go to market, we set them in here. Another cool feature is the dogs. You get 2 ranch dogs, and they're different. One of them has this. One of them is kind of like a pit bull. We decided, right? That guy here. This guy's a pit bull mix, really. And then on the other side, we got our shepherd. Here's the shepherd. I haven't named them though. You know, really, I'm not much of a dog person. That's clearly a shepherd. You can really tell they're different. What kind of dogs they are, though. The breed and everything. All right, wait a minute. You're right. I haven't checked out the party area. I just hope that everybody has been responsible using the common facility areas. Let's just see. Let's just see here. Oh, holy hell. What is this? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bottles of beer, a piece of pizza on the ground, pizza box on a Hobie Gal. Oh my Lord. pieces of pizza. But here's the thing, whatever that is, there's a garbage can not 11 feet away that's empty. Not 10 feet away. How lazy do you have to be just to not toss everything in the trash? It's right there for you guys. I'm like, sure, have your little pizza and beer parties without me, okay? But just toss everything in the marked receptacle. My God, you people! All right, well that's off. That's. I mean, somebody's gonna have to clean that up, and somebody's gonna have to pay it. By the way, were you people involved in this beer party? Were you? Were you? Oh, they're not talking. They're like, the owner's here. Everyone clam up. All right, fine. What about you people over here? Aren't there some people hanging out over here? Over here? No, they're over here. Oh, but you know what my favorite thing is when I bought my ranch? Free Corvette. And it's a little red Corvette too. These people are different, right? So those people were dressed in the uniform. These people look like those like the campers. Again, they're different. These guys are different every time. They're a little different. I don't know how many human models they have, but they really look like maybe these are real people that somebody knew. Anyway, you get a free red Corvette. It's the little red. It's the not the original model of 70. It's the number 2. This is a Gen 2 Corvette here, but it's one of my favorite early 70s models. They're super impractical. They're super wildly fun to drive. They don't turn very well, but they go fast in a straight line really nicely. Let me put it that way. They don't stop that well either. But it's great because you won't find this car anywhere else. It's just in my ranch. You got a bucket here from a bucket loader. You got a lot of custom. Oh, that's like a little scooter here. I mean, check this out. You got a lot of custom farm equipment, tractor, and custom things. And New Holland. I think these are like real brands. Okay. So right. So you can hear, when you hear the radio, that's because you're near the saddle shop. Right. Okay. So we've seen the cows. You can hear them. This cow is being milking itself. Cows can't milk themselves, but I imagine somebody there is milking the cow. And you got steers as well. That one's saying no. You don't want to be photographed. You don't consent to be photographed. Hey, buddy, I own you. Oh, is that like a sheep or just a baby? That's a baby cow. Oh my. Or veal, as I like to call her. Another, a bunch of more custom cars, and this is actually a really nice one. It's the Jeep with the glass sunroof. I wouldn't mind owning that car. It's a Grand Cherokee. Those are expensive. They've gone up, and the license plate says too. Look, I'm just exploring stuff. Okay, I haven't seen everything in this place. Apparently, if you come at certain times of day, there's like a guy who opens and closes this door here. Like there are things that we haven't seen. Like this door will close, but it's a scripted event that occurs at like 5:30 p.m. or something like that. You got this truck that's so rusted out, it's not going to be very good in the rain. Let me put it that way. You know what I'm saying? It might as well be a convertible. But the thing is, it's got stuff in the back, like like it's drivable. Like, you know, oh yeah, we're going to be taking that stuff to the market. I don't think your tires are going to be going anywhere. But man, the loving detail to the decrepitude. That's I would possibly fuel, some kind of tank there. Got some chickens here. You got your cherry picker there. You got a grater there. That's a grater. You got looks like they're laying some pipe over here, concrete pipe. It's I mean, it's just fun to explore. All right, well, that's enough for today's mission. You know what we're gonna do real quick? We're gonna go back to the falls, but we're gonna do it in the AT Ascendants, real quickly, because I just want to see it again. There's a couple places I want to see. Before we do that, I'm gonna take a nice picture with the American flag and one of my barns in the background here. Okay, a nice little screenshot. There we go. A little bit higher. I really would like to have a realistic avatar in the game, though. I don't think they let you do that. There we go. Dang it, what did I just do? Oh, this reset. Oh. Oh, what did I do? Did I just go out? Okay, yeah, I messed up. All right, here we go. Just about to take a screenshot and I pressed the wrong button. All right, but we'll do you know, we'll be doing a lot, but it doesn't take long to. Oh, come on! Oh, my systems are acting kind of funky. There we go. Screenshot. That's hard to do. All right, especially because it'll just take a second. but we're going to switch to the AT Ascendants. It's a hybrid, blah, blah, blah. You'll see. That Paulista is a Brazilian plane, right? The Ascendants, we're going to switch to the Ascendants. Let me quickly get a nice... that's what I'm thinking. I think this will show up. This will show up as helicopter pads. That's the thing about it. In the old previous to SU3, we would have seen all the helicopter pads in the area automatically, but I haven't. But I think that's one of the reasons why I want to try this one, because I think we'll do the wild pink one. It's, you know what? We should do camo because we're trying to sneak up on the wildlife. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason to be camouflaged. Okay, we'll save it back there. And yeah, theoretically, we should be able to do Victoria Falls because it's a town and an airport. But I haven't tried it. Yeah. Okay, so there's a Big Four heliport, Victoria Falls. Yeah, but so there's 3 heliports in the area. Let's check it out. Let's check out number one. Now, it is nighttime there. We are going to magically perform this in a late afternoon time frame. Let's see. How close are we? I think we'll be pretty close. And this is this is, you know, it can take off like a helicopter and then translate into flying flight. Boy, you see how good that how camouflage really works in this kind of area. You know, from any kind of height, you're not going to see it. All right, we got full control there. Not looking at that. It's a little loud from the outside. Okay, we are on hover mode. Which way is the thing that we're going to go? You can't see it from a distance, but you can see the we'll see. Oh, there's like a resort. You can see the when we get some altitude. Okay, we're about to take off in hover mode. There we go. So we're in hover mode. It's like a drone. It's gonna go up over a specific part of the world, ground. I can move. I can turn. What we want to do, yeah, I guess it's gonna be that way because you can see it. But I don't even know if I've seen this resort here, which I'm kind of want to check out. So we're gonna go forward, and then we switch from hover to fly mode using that button there. And then what happens is, this is a really, I didn't even check this out. There's a bunch of resorts in the area. But we'll fly down to Zambezi. What we're looking for is like little moving dots that are really tiny in the area, but that will indicate fauna, possible sightings. But what we're going to do for this trip, which is different than the previous trip, is we're going to head down the Zambezi River to the falls. Previously, we headed from the south, which is from the north to the south. Previously, we went from the south to the north. And this is just beautiful. What's our speed? 122. Yeah, so at this point we are flying like a plane, but not like a regular plane. As Wilma likes to say, he's not here today, but it's like the flying GPU. It has so many fans. But anyway, we'll definitely be able to tell when we're getting close to the falls as you see that mist in the distance. So anyway, yeah, I just bought this week. That will be Al's recommendation. This add-on terrain. I think some of the animals are over on that side. Maybe not. We'll find them. First, I want to show you guys, while we're here, we've got to see the falls. I don't have a ton of time. We've got like 15 minutes to fly around. But I thought they'd be here. Anyway, so there's this one end here. This is kind of the far end. You can see those down there. And there's this incredible gorge here. It's a gorgeous gorge. This is what it looks like from here. I don't think in the real world they let you do this for a good reason. But we ain't in the real world. And it goes down forever. It's just this really long set of falls. And the water goes down that way. And then we got some like these little touristy eco places to have expensive breakfast here. All right, so but then you can kind of see this whole kind of Z configuration here of the water. Where it kind of comes that direction, takes a sharp turn, comes that direction, makes another sharp turn, really sharp turn, comes that direction, and then goes down quite a ways. And I'm kind of just learning how this topography works. But what we want to do is turn around and kind of hover by that bridge. So. Well, it's these days it's not just a flight simulator. They're trying to make it a world simulator. I mean, not for the whole world, but for some parts of it. Okay, so as we go down this gorge here, which I'm about to show you. I want to make another little turn here. I'm actually going to turn the plane into hover mode fairly early on, like right around here. So at this point, it's like putting the brakes on. And now I want to head down this way to get to the bridge. I want to also be making sure I start losing altitude because we're going to go under. Well, we're not going under. First of all, we're gonna go right there. Okay, we're hovering right now, 0 vertical speed. We're at 3,000. You can see the shadow of the plane down there. This is the first time I've flown the ATSN. I mean, it's one of the first times we haven't had it that long. All right, so now I'm watching my vertical speed go down. Perfect. Minus 350. But you can see how that water is really fast too. It's a huge amount of water. Comes over the falls. Oops, slow down. Okay, I'm still in hover mode, right? Slow down. All right, we're still going down at 300 feet per second. So yeah, you can see this, and this is the real world. First of all, I wish we had better rainbow effects. It was always a rainbow. But yeah, this bridge here, they have bungee jumping. You can bungee jump off this bridge. It's probably one of well known around the world as a spectacular spot. And there they go. There's a guy bungee jumping down there. Every minute or so, you'll see a guy bungee jump. Well, we'll check it out. I didn't know about this. This is really cool. But you can see as we approach the bridge, very detailed. People on the bridge. I think there's. Is this the rail bridge or the car bridge? So we get up here. And you can see we're right in this guy's face here. He's getting ready to go, I think. He's getting ready to go. He's gonna go. He's gonna jump. He's gonna go. I'm in your face, dude. But it's a drone, you know what I mean? It can hover all day. And there we go. Whee! Whee! Well, we hover. It seems unrealistic, but theoretically, this is a real plane that could really do this kind of stuff. All right, so we get a little more power to the engines. That gives us some lift. Actually, let's get a little less power to the engines. We're going to wonder. Less power to the engines, and that reduces our lift. So you don't really see the guy come back up. He just reappears there. Okay, then we go in, under. Try not to cut your rope there. And there we are, hovering inside the grid, the area. All right, so I promised you some wildlife, and I'm pretty sure I know where some is. Okay, I'm increasing power here. So we can get some positive rate here. You kind of look up and down. There's the whole Victoria Falls. Yeah, so we know where the herd of elephants is. At least one. We only saw one giraffe. I bet there's a bunch of giraffes. But there might be some. Okay, so but this is interesting because now we're seeing, where the helicopter landing pads are. We took off on a helicopter landing pad that was up there. There's another one by this other fancy resort, which also has a great view of the falls right here. And so you could helicopter in if you're a rich person and land at the Livingstone Victoria heliport. Oh, there's a zebra on time. The Maramba River Airport. We'll check it out. Because I thought I landed there. There's what's going up there. Anyway, they're down here somewhere. Just gotta keep an eye out for little tiny moving dots. You can see the cars moving. They're smaller and slower than a car. But we'll see something. But yeah, see, now that we're in a helicopter, it is showing points of interest, effectively, that we couldn't see. There's the United Air helicopter flight. I'm looking down to see if there's any, voila. Look down there. All right, I don't want to bug them too much, so we're actually going to jump out of the plane. And you can see below us here is a herd of elephants. There we we go. Hello, Mr. Elephant. Mr. Elephants. I would do want to find the zebras. And giraffes seem to be a little harder to find too. Oh, there's a baby elephant. We didn't see the baby elephant before. There it is. Hello. There's a bunch of different sizes. There's bulls and cows and babies. There's at least three different kinds. Kind of cool. All right, where's your plane? All right, keep flying around a bit. Back in the plane using your magical parachute system. Oh. Okay. I thought I had turned off time, but I didn't. I'm just hovering. Okay, so we have United helicopter flights. But again, since we weren't in a helicopter before, but I'm going to keep my eye out for a zebra. We wouldn't have seen this little area. I wouldn't have known that this is even here. This is pretty cool. It's got a couple of helicopter landing pads. You can see that there is a swimming pool and a tiny, tiny eco resort there, right here. Hey, some of these might be super luxurious, but you can tell they are small. It looks like you get a cabin that's on like a little pond there, and there's the main thing. Oh yeah, that's how it works. It's very common. We were watching. We saw some YouTube travel videos. Oh, I am too. But the point is, yeah. Now that we can see the no, okay, we're gonna go flight mode here and fly around a bit. Now that I can see the helicopter things, it does, you know, offer opportunities for things to see that I probably wouldn't have noticed. All right, we're in power mode. We need some power here, please. Up. Big herder giraffe. They're running. They do run away from the plane, but yeah, there's a bunch of giraffe there. I still want to see where you're playing zebra. There's a bunch of giraffe. They're just in that urban. They're just in the semi-urban area here. But okay, this airport starts with an M, right? But I don't know if there's really much around it. Oops, too fast. Oh, that's too much power. We landed here yesterday, but I don't really see a lot of stuff. But we're kind of too high up now. Yeah, it would be interesting to live in town. It's probably not that unusual. There is a lot of wildlife in this area, and the reason why is there's not a lot of water in this area. You know, the Zambezi River is pretty massive, and you know, it basically most of the water in the area is there. So this whole area next to the Zambezi, that we're all flying. I'm not landing here. I just want to tell you what it looks like from here. Do see zebra. I'm gonna try to stop. Too slow. That was not good. I didn't know what I was doing. We're fine. I think we're not fine. What's going on here? Full power. I don't think I can recover from this. Unfortunately, because I'm too low. That's full power. Dang it, can't recover from that. Annoying. Wow. Oof. Seems like a bug. Alright, let's see if I can at least figure out how to get out of this. It's not accepting an escape. There we go. Finally. Woof. That's never happened before. I almost never happened before, and the reason why is this plane is unique. This kind of aircraft is unique. All right, so here's where we were. We just had to start where we were before. All right, get into hover mode. Start moving forward. There we go. Go into fly. There we are. Into fly. Crazy. But because most planes you can recover from that. There's like a tennis court there. Some of these places look pretty new. Okay, but yeah, so we were actually I wanted to go here. The other place we haven't been is the actual city of Livingstone, named after the adventurer. Okay, so the falls are that way. Going too fast already. trying to see if there's anything moving down here. Should stay low or we won't be able to see stuff. This looks like a evaporation pond, maybe for salt. Oh, I'm not sure if the evaporating here. There's definitely some interesting stuff to see, I presume. But it is a point of interest, and we haven't checked it out yet. I paid money for this, so we're gonna. I presume it's it's Dr. Livingstone. I presume that Livingstone, because yeah, they're very famous explorers of Africa, Europe. As far as European man went, they had never heard of any of this stuff in detail. They basically knew there was a big continent out there, but they didn't know anything else. These explorers became very. Like very famous people in their time. Okay, there's a train station there. Yeah, well, it's definitely not like California. So I guess this is another town that's nearby, and it is pretty spread out. I mean, I don't see anything in particular at the point of interest. Really got to watch your airspeed in this plane. Because again, you're not directly controlling the speed of those propellers. You're controlling the speed of the 4 turbine engines that produce electricity to spin those propellers. For that reason, this kind of flying requires a little bit of forethought and understanding of the situation. That's a big row. Straight line. All right, so you can always see where the falls are from any distance because you can see that little misting effect. That's the falls. So there's 2 towns. There's Livingstone, and the town of Victoria Falls. But these are the only places of any kind of population inside anywhere. You see like purple trees down there. There's definitely some color variations down there. I don't know how realistic there is like bright purple trees around here. All right, so that's that's kind of where we crashed over here. There's the falls, and then if we go that way, they are pretty wild, and there's nice variation. You got palm trees, you got kind of those baobab trees, you got kind of like a lot of scrub trees. There's some things moving down here. Yeah, we may have to discover the zebra next time. But I'll head down just to show you kind of the other town. So this is Batoka Airport and Heliport. Well, actually, yeah, right. Okay. So this would probably be both a heliport and an airport, depending on what kind of plane you're flying. It's got some cool little buildings. I haven't landed here before. You know what? We're gonna land there. But let's check out the falls again real quick. It looks like it might have some, interesting structures. This is where we took off from. It's called Elephant Hills, right? So I'm guessing that this resort, this big ass resort, modern resort, is Elephant Hills. I would expect that we should see some elephants around there, and I'm sure they're spread around. But check it out. This is where we took off from. Right here. And yeah, as advertised, there's a bunch of elephants down there. A bunch of elephants. You can kind of see them. It's a little bit of pop-in, as we say. But there's a whole family of group of elephants down there. We already saw elephants. We gotta go to Zebra Hills. There may not be too many. Oh, wait. He keeps wanting to do some wild things. Just gotta keep the wings level. Especially you have to keep the wings level on a plane that has fans pointing down that are providing lift. I mean, it's in case it's not obvious that you lose lift. You have a lot of lift when you turn. You don't really need to turn in this plane because you can kind of yaw very, very, very easily. There's some kind of cool buildings here, and yeah, the trees, the coloration of the trees here is really intense. There's a radio tower over there. This is the town of Victoria Falls, but you can also see, yeah, there's a bunch of things that weren't labeled unless you're a helicopter, like the Victoria Falls Hospital. It's Now I want to see what it looks like. Probably not that impressive from the outside, but I also want to see what's down there. This is the hospital. Okay, it's just, some buildings. It's right here. But, it's better than living in the middle of nowhere, and if you need a hospital, you gotta, take a 10-hour caravan ride. So I imagine, it's a major reason why people would say put the trucks there. But I also wanted to check this one out here. I'm having a good time with this content. Does this thing ever leave if I don't? Yeah, it does. Alright, so it's a heliport here. But I'm just wondering, this is probably another one of these like tiny little eco-tourist or just little touristy places. Why else would you put a helicopter here? Landing pad there. It says heliport. Okay, yeah, once again, I'm trying to make these tight turns, and it's kind of dangerous. All right, we're gonna do one pass so you guys can see the falls one more time, and then I'm gonna land, and then we're gonna be doing more stuff on stream. But hey, if you enjoyed today's content in terms of flight simulatoring, which I sure did, there'll be more tomorrow. And every day. What's my speed here? 101. A little more power. As soon as you start slowing down a little bit when you're low speed, put some more power on. But then if I give it full power, it will overspeed quite easily. So it's got those propellers on the front and back that are providing propulsion force. And then the 8 fans and the wings provide vertical lifting force and make it quite easy to translate into a drone mode, hover mode. Which once again we will do so we get a really fun slow speed look at the ravine in here. So we're in fly mode. There's basically a button that says fly. Push it again, it goes to hover, and it's that simple. But it's interesting that plane like the ornithopter will hover, I think, and fly, but it has a very different method of, there's no specific button. Okay, so we're going to go into hover mode right around here. All right, so hover mode automatically levels your wings. We can still move forward. And I want to make sure we're losing altitude, so I'm reducing power. But yeah, once you're in hover mode, you can't even you can't turn your wings. I mean, you can translate. So anyway, so if you're a visitor, there's a bunch of overlooks and places to see views. There are like 5 or 6 different places. It basically takes all day to see all the different views. But several of them are at this end, this far end of this little road here. There's like a visitor center. You park. There's a bunch of bus loads of tourists. It's not just going to be you. And then the other thing we found out in the thing is that there's times of the years when it's dry. And not every year, but sometimes there's drought, and the water level of the Zambezi River goes down, and this whole waterfall dries up pretty much, like most of it. But apparently it's not that common. So we can just basically stop. We can look around. You can see we're just hanging out here, watching. You got a beautiful view. Got the best view here. We're going down, which is fine because we've got plenty of down to go to. You don't have to worry about touching the walls because you can maneuver quite carefully in very small distances. You can spin around. It's not going to affect the point of Earth that you're hovering over. So it's pretty wild. In the real world, this would be a really, really wild view, and kind of scary because you're kind of descending into a very chaotic, watery place. It's probably a lot more chaotic. Let's get more power here. Go down this way. The thing is, though, it's probably a little more realistic at a little bit of a height. But yeah, so if you want to go down the entire thing, what we're going to do is stop here and make a sharp right turn. And then we can see you can see the bridge here. That's where they're bungee jumping from. They they're bungee jumping on the other side. We'll probably see the guy go. I'm just having a really good time. Okay, he's down there. You can see him. He's down here. He's hanging out down there. All right, let's go through. We're going through. But it is certainly, you know, it is certainly maneuverable enough to do anything, go anywhere. All right, let's land. I want to land at the other airport. Okay, we're gonna do this here. We're gonna go into the bridge again. There's the guy bungee jumping. We're gonna go over the falls. And we're gonna switch to fly mode. I wanted to check out this little airport over here. I think it was this one over here. All right, go up here. We get some altitude. Switch to fly mode. Fly mode it is. Give us some speed. Don't let your wings go anything go vertical. Horizontal. Yeah, I just want to see this airport. Was it that one? Maybe this one. I think it doesn't matter. We're going to land all of them at some point. Because, you know, expensive add-ons. We're still going to find the zebras someday. But, yeah, I think this is the one that had some unusual looking buildings. Okay, hover mode. Houston engines. We'll find out in a second. Yeah, it looks like there's a couple other kind of ecotourism places. Looks like there's quite a few resorts if you want to stay here. I guess most of them are probably pretty deluxe. Oh, we're going up. Down is there we go. Down. There's some altitude here. Go. I just want to check out these buildings so you can kind of see they're kind of cool looking. So at least one of them is kind of interesting. Alright, watch our negative speed. At negative 1,000. Good speed to be going down. Well, we're kind of high up, so. But yeah, so there's a couple helicopter landing pads, but this also does have a short strip, so this is obviously going to show up on the regular aircraft. But it looks like there's a Tanarg ultralight over there. 2,000 feet per second lot. We're going to start giving us some juice here. There's that little there's a little Robinson R-22. And there's a Tanarg ultralight or some kind of ultralight. Some of these stuff, but I want to check out what's over here. This is really cool. Again, I've never been here before. You know, in the game. Break on, we're in the shadows. Alright. Engines off. You just turn these off, I believe. Right. Battery off. Alternator off. And what happens is the engines are still spinning. Oops. Right. And then what happens is as the engines spin down, the generators turn off. You'll see those will go out. That's fine. It's the normal way it works. All right. So I wanted to check out this area. We're going to get outside walking. You see there's a couple of yeah, this is cool. This is very scripted stuff. There's a couple of Robinson R-22s that's actually one of the bigger ones. That's not a 22. I don't think. Batoka Sky. It's an R-44. The R-22s are 2-passenger. The R-44s are 4-passenger. This is an R-44. I don't have them in the game. Your Jet A1 fuel storage area, no smoking signs. It's really, for any small airport, it's got a lot of stuff going on. But this is this is a Tanarg. You know what? It's not. I mean, it's similar, but it's a much simpler design. It's got the 2-cylinder Rotax. It's got a lot of details on it. But yeah, also, I guess you could rent these if you knew what you're doing, maybe, or they take you out on one. There's some people hanging out here. This is pretty cool. There's the flag of, I don't know, Zambia, where we are. Zambezi. And I guess this is probably a place where you can, like it's a hut. You probably get food there. But, it's an airport. This is really cool. Very well done. Again, highly researched. They would have had to kind of physically go here, I would think. So for $14, you're actually getting kind of, or I guess you could base it on photos and kind of videos and things. But, it'd take a lot of work to reconstruct things like this. You got some custom vehicles. You got like a Jeep with a snorkel. Actually, I've seen that other places. Kind of a water station there. Okay. But again, I love these R44s. Let's take a picture commemorating our trip. You can barely see us because we're camouflaged and we're in a area which the camouflage is really making us hard to see. We'll just get really close up to compensate here. That was fun. I had a great time. All right, I gotta keep going. I got a lot of stuff I want to do on today's stream. Like every stream, we do more than just one thing. We do flight simulation, but we do other stuff too. By that I mean me and the mouse in my pocket and this glass of Diet Coke. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hey, it's not even done yet, but you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna play the guitar. Let's get the big brain games queued up. Hold on. See, I'm saying the Diet Coke looks low, but I haven't poured all of it out from the can yet to avoid the de-effervescence feature. Yeah, that's the way to drink your Diet Coke. All right. They still haven't sent me even one case of free Diet Coke. They haven't. Someday, and when we do, man, that will be a party time. We know we'll have made it. All right, quit the desktop here. Bring up my. Okay, here's the thing. Here's the browser that has the. Excuse me. The browser that has my Quirtle, because that's the first of the big brain games. So, okay, switch out of the category to just chatting, because there is no big brain game category, and even if there was, I'd probably just stay in just chatting. All right, we're in just chatting. The big brain games consist of me playing the Quirtle, the Revealed, the Tightrope Trivia, which is being Sunday is the hardest trivia quiz of the week before it resets tomorrow, and 2 Octorals. Let's get started, and then we taking the break and switching over to the music category. Lots of streaming to do today. I already did today's Wordle, New York Times Wordle, and I got it in 3, which is really good. All right, so let's see this one. I already know we're in hell because this one on the lower left could be a lot of things. But here, we're not in hell, but let's see. This one could be, let's see. I think it's ESTY, so it could be testy. It could be testy. Let's try testy because that's got all the letters. All right, let's see. Okay. There's a couple things that it could be, because it could be moral or molar, but let's just guess moral. Oh, nice. Could have been molar, MOLLAR. It's an anagram, but we got lucky. Very nice. All right, this last one is on lower left. I'll talk about that in a second. Let's just get this one up here. Probably ends in ER, has an N and a T. It could be enter, ENTER. Let's just guess enter and see what happens. All right. Again, so it's OIST, but it could be hoist, foist, joist, or see, it can't be moist because there's no M. So my point is, because we haven't eliminated H, J, or F. Is that the only one it could be? Yeah. We have to do a strategy word. So all right, so a word that has F, any 2 of F, H, or J. Let me just figure out any random word that has those. Let's say doesn't have to be a real word or word that could exist. So, but let me just think of what it could be here. Let's try wharf, because it's got a W, it's got an H and an F in it. It's going to tell us something. Yeah, it's foist. If it didn't have the F, it could have been hoist. If it had the H, it could have been hoist. If it had neither the H or the F, it would have been joist. It's just a kind of a thing. All right, let's move on. The revealed. I don't want to spend. By the way, I'll do the other. There's like 5 Quirtles a day. I do all. Eventually, I'll get them all done. Let's do the revealed. Today, it's an animal and nature's category. The correct result. The correct answer is going to have 8 letters in it. Exactly. Okay. Let's read the heavily redacted document, so which will help me determine which. Oh, it's a long one too. Which things to reveal, which is the name of the game. You know, if you're good, you'll know what to reveal. Okay, so the blank, if it's white like that, that's the actual thing we're looking for. And then blank in parentheses, that's going to be the Latin name, which we might want to use as a cheat because that's how we roll around here. Is any of blank to blank blank of blank 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 found in tropical blank classified in the blank? See also blank. Green blank are among the blank blank in the blank, growing up to blank blank, long rivaling the blank blank in blank and blank up to blank. Green blank are blank blank with alternating blank blank spots. Despite much attention paid to a blank of blank individuals, most blank do not exceed blank blank in blank. Ooh, so there's a green something as a variation of what this is. I want to see what this is. Okay, long vine, green. Now I think green to me screams anaconda, which also has 8 letters. Yeah, okay. So, so reticulated python, it's an anaconda is not a reticulated python, but it sure puts you in the right neighborhood. And then the clue that there's something green anacondas among large shades, because there are variations of anacondas. And as a trivia master, you should know that it's the green anacondas, which are the really big ones. They weigh up to 550 pounds. They're olive colored snakes with alternating, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's see how everyone we did. We needed that one reveal. Other players needed 4.9 reveals and 1.7 hits. We did pretty good. We did pretty good, all right. 100% solve rate, 38 streak, 20. That's hard to describe. All right, let's move on to the incredibly difficult tightrope trivia. By incredibly difficult, I just mean it's a 9-question multiple choice trivia quiz. I do consider myself a certified trivia master. Although if I get this wrong, they may revoke my certification. That's all right. But right. So Sundays is the hardest. You don't get to slide this thing. It slides itself. Okay. It says harder. Sundays is the hardest, and they do save the hard ones for Sunday. Let's find out. Salvador Dali, persistence of memory, most famous pieces of work. America Online. Okay, business. Yeah, that's bad business there. Good guess. Winston Churchill. These are the hard ones. I probably knew some of these things. With Austria directly was Hungary House. Which country is the only one to border 2 different countries? Well, it's got to be Slovakia. None of those are anywhere near Austria or Hungary. Named for a river in the north of course, is distinct cotted. Isn't that Appaloosa? Yeah, I thought that it's a river and a mountain range, but yeah. Maybe it's just a river. But a languid fashion in doing something slowly? Why would you finish? I don't care. Languid, slow. All right, we're doing well. Through the last of a long day's trusted general of Alexander the Great. Wasn't it Attila the Hun? Oof. Cleopatra. Oh, I kind of knew that one, but that was hard. Making an sound. It's an E upside down. Okay, that's something random. Anything goes. Well, we will cross it because you can get up to 2 wrong. It'll cross the tightrope, but it's not good. The largest part of the human brain is the cerebrum. Phew, thank God my brain knew what the largest part of itself was. All right, that's not too bad. It's 8 out of 9 on the trivia. Trust me, on the Sunday trivia. Let's see what kind of points we get. I want to get over 2,000 points, but missing an answer makes that problematic. Okay, barely. Walking encyclopedia. All right, we're moving on. The last 2 big brain games are 2 octurals. We're going to start with the warm-up octural, which is we're solving 8 5-letter words at the same time using the same set of clues. So I'm going to use my powerful 3 starting words. But the next game we play, the rescue, will not. It uses 4 words of randomness. Okay, what else do we have here? Let's see. I'm going to try upper right. Let's try shady. It could be shaky. Let's try shady. It was shady. I got lucky there. Let's see. Let's move along here. We got extra guesses on this one. Could this be mercy? It could be mercy. This one here is biome on the lower left there, right? And then we got, okay, let's move up. Lower left, it could be a lot of things, but I'm going to guess flank. Because it uses, and it was flank, yes, because it gave us the F and the K were both important words here. Interesting on the lower right is clearly lanky. You can kind of see what it is. Right there. Let's see, we're making good time here. Flush on the lower right there. Gonna grab that. We have one left, and that's gonna be F-E-R-A-L. All right, wait, one more whole game though. We finished the classic, but that's just the warm up. The hard one is called the rescue. All right, this one's gonna be harder. I only get about maybe 60% of these. I mean, the other ones I get every time pretty much, because I do them all the time. Let's see this one here. The interesting thing here is that it has a C, L, K, and N, but no vowels. But we haven't tried the A, so it's got to be. Let's see. Clank, C-L-A-N-K, and that'll give us the A, which we badly needed, and a word which also needed. Now this one here is C-L-O. And then it has a U. And it can't be clout, right? But it could be cloud, right? I think it's got to be cloud. Okay, good. And that D was helpful here. So this lower left one now could be grade, G-R-A-D-E, or drape. Oof, let's wait. Let's hold off on that one. Here, what do we got? We know where the A is. There's an E, N, L, and R. There we have all 5 letters. Yeah, so that could be learn, L-E-A-R-N, probably. We're doing well on the rescue. Let's see. This could be I-N-C-H on the lower left. So it could be winch or pinch. Or cinch. No, not because that's with a C. It can't be cinch. It could be winch or pinch. I'm going to guess pinch. P-I-N-C-H. Because if it's right, it'll give us the P. Ah, nice. Very satisfying to win this game. Try yourself. It's not that easy. All right. R-E and nothing else. Oh, there's an F. It could be refer. R-E-F-E-R. Well, I'm going to hold off on that. Let's see. This one here. Ooh, no consonants at all. Just the U and the O. I don't know about that one. All right, what else we got here? Oh, this one down here. Let's just talk. Okay, now we know it's not drape. So it could be DRA because there's no P in it. And I don't see any other DRA something E words that would be available. So now I think it is something RADE. Let's try grade. I feel good about it. Nice. All right, well, the G wasn't helpful, but we got a word. Now we're down to 3 to get with 4 gusses. This one's still going to be hard. All right, let's just try refer. REFER. Okay, we got that one. We're down to 2. Let's see. This one here, because it's got a C and an H, but and an O and an A. But it's not chaos. Let's see. What could that be? Is echu a word? Apparently it is, but we shouldn't have guessed it. It could have been echu. If no, actually couldn't have. All right, let's move on. We still have no what this is here. Let's see. I'm going to guess for this word here, jumbo. I got a good feeling about it. And now we've got 1 word left and 1 guess left. This is going to be hard, though, because I can already tell I have no idea what this word is. Is it havoc? HAVOC? Ooh. HAVOC. Does that have all the letters? Ooh, I think it is havoc. We won. Oh my God, the big brain games were won today, basically. I mean, they always get kind of won, you know what I'm saying? But it just depends on how won you won. Well, this one we don't win every time. Oh my Lord, I had a good time though. All right, just getting started with this massive stream. We're an hour and a half in, but there's probably going to be, I don't know, 45 minutes or an hour be dinking around on my guitar. But I will be taking a short break before we jam over to the music category. As you guys know, I always do a musical performance. Yesterday we played Ken's Piano Lounge. By the way, I listened to the I watched my performance from yesterday in the lounge, and I'm like, I got a few notes wrong, but I could be a professional lounge piano player. You know what I mean? Nobody would go, that guy doesn't know how to play the piano, if I walked into a piano lounge and started playing. You know what I mean? I'm pretty good. It's kind of a, how can I phrase this? I impress myself when I play the piano. Guitar, not so much. I mean, I can play the guitar, but when I play the piano, I'm like, God, that guy's a pro, man. He should be making a lot of money. It's needless to say, I'm an amateur. I don't actually make any money. All right, mid-roll then. camera ready here. Something here. Oh, yeah. One second here. Pardon my inattentiveness. The camera set up. That's better. All right. We're in the music category, I believe. All right. Before we get into the actual performance of the music, you know how it is. I like to talk about the guitar a little bit. This is my most recent, my roughly 15 collection of guitar. They're not all electric guitars. I got a 12-string acoustic. I got a nylon string electric. I got a 6-string acoustic. Got a hybrid acoustic electric, which is more like an acoustic, really. But let's see, what else do I got? And then a bunch of electric guitars. I got a bass. I got a Squire jazz bass. Really nice one. But I bought this guitar completely based on the photos on Amazon, and the fact that it wasn't that expensive is like $250, which is a lot of money for a guitar. And it's a off-brand called a Leo James. You can still buy these on Amazon. I don't even know what country they're made in. It doesn't say. Probably China, but it's hard to say. I bought a lot of guitars that are made in China, and they all say made in China on them, proudly. This guitar does not say made in China. It just says designed and manufactured by Leo James, spelled with a Z. And it's got a serial number, but it does not say where is. It's fine. I don't care. I mean, it doesn't really matter what country it's made in. It's just adds to the mystery. Personally, my guess is somewhere place like Bangladesh, maybe Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Burma, or Myanmar, excuse me. Vietnam. Not China, because China's no, if you're China, you'd proudly put made in China on it, because there's plenty of great guitars made in China. Or Indonesia. If it's made in Indonesia, you're going to say made in Indonesia. Some of the best guitars in the world are made in Indonesia. Just the way it is. All right. So what makes it the fancy cheap guitar? What makes it the fancy cheap guitar is that it has got a lot of nice things about it for a cheap, guitar. I mean, it's got some really, it's got stainless steel frets. It's got these really cool fret markers that work for this as the side frets as well as the top frets. It came with lock-in tuners that have locks on the back. You can't really see them too well there. Lock-in tuners, you kind of see them there. They're not that great, but they work, and really cool looking, and all the hardware is matching. You got coil splitting humbuckers in here. You can split the coils here if you really wanted to. String through body construction, meaning there's holes there. That's really nice in this price range, but it's got all the features you want. Right, strap locks as well. These are strap locks. And then, it's fully adjustable, so I was able to adjust it. It did not come perfectly nicely adjusted, that's for sure, out of the box. But I was able to adjust it. Everything about it. The truss rod had to be adjusted, the pickup height, the string height, the intonation. But I got it sounding pretty good, I think. At least in my opinion, which is the one that counts. So I'm playing it a lot because one of the basic advantages of stainless steel frets, as opposed to the nickel steel frets you typically get on a guitar, is that stainless steel frets are not supposed to wear out as you play them. And the only way to find out is to play a lot and see if the frets stay nice and unworn. They generate these little divots, these little wear things where you've been playing the frets a lot. After about 1,000 hours of playing a guitar, it takes a while. But many of my guitars I've had for a long time have wear on the frets. You can barely tell when you're playing it, but as it gets worse, it's going to be a problem. This one's a brand new guitar and has stainless steel frets. anyway, still gotta practice. Let me get warm up a little bit here. Get my ergonomics in a good position. Oh yeah, these are songs I like to play. This is what I like to play. It's called Modern Jesus by Portugal the Man. It goes like this. Come on in, take a seat next to me. You know we got what you need. We may be liars preaching to choirs, but we can sell your dreams. You don't need sympathy, they got a pill for everything. Just take that dark cloud, bring it out to wash it down, but don't pray for us. We don't need no modern Jesus to roll with us. The only rule we need is never giving up. The only faith we have is faith in us. We are the ones who start little fires. If they burn out, but when they're on the rise, I can't help but shine. And when the wave approaches, take our ashes to the ocean. Who cares if hell awaits? We're having drinks at heaven's gate, but I don't pray for us. We don't need no modern Jesus to roll with us. The only rule we need is never giving up. The only faith we have is faith in us. We know that we're helpless, at least that's what we assume, but we don't need to prove nothing to you. Let's all stay cool. You don't want to feel blue, but we won't sell you nothing you can't use. Don't wait for us. We don't need no modern Jesus to roll with us. The only rule we need is never giving up. The only faith we have is faith in us. Alright, check my tune here. I want to do that Cat Stevens song. It's a tune. So far, I'm doing too good. that's better. Let's see if it stays in tune. All right, this is a finger picking tongue, isn't it? Or is it? Yeah, it is picking. Okay. I listen to the wind of my soul. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Not quite ready to sing. We'll get there, maybe. We'll see. See if we're ready. I listen to the wind of my soul. Excuse me 1 second, please. I don't know. We'll have to find out. Maybe, maybe not. Do this carefully here. Carefully. Oh, there we go. Everything has to be done in its correct order. I'm just gonna play some songs here. I'm not gonna try to sing. My voice is gone today. It's fine. It doesn't sound that bad when I'm talking though. But sometimes it just doesn't want to sing. Okay. Okay, where are we here? Diet Coke is making me belch a lot. I mean, there's no excuse because I have Diet Coke every single time. Oh, that's tasty stuff. All right, next. What are we going to do? All right, oh, damn it. Damn it. Gosh darn it. Give me a second here. I'm switching over. I'll do a couple karaoke songs. I mean, at least there's a backing. There's backing, you know.
dust for ghosts, and ashes for trees, honey for a cool breeze, cold comfort for change, tickets change, walk on part in the war. We're just two lost souls living in a fishbowl year after year, running over the same old ground, carrying down the same old fears. Wish you were here.
That's an easy one to relatively just sing. It's not that much weird lyrics in it anyway. And this one's easy to sing because it's a female singer. It's easier for me to sing in that range.
There she goes again, racing through my brain, and I just can't contain this feeling that remains. There she goes again, pulsing through my veins, and I just can't contain this feeling.
come together there. I always do Wonderwall. At least until Oasis stops touring, which they're currently doing. Goes a little like this. Not the right key, everything. I think.
The day that they're gonna throw it back at you. I now should have somehow realized what you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do. Backbeat, the word is on the street, but the fire in your heart is out. I'm sure you've heard it all before, but you never really had it down. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads we have to walk are winding, and all the lights that lead us there are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. But baby, you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my Wonderwall. Today is gonna be the day, but we'll never throw it back to you. Right now, you should have somehow realized what you're not to do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do at you now. And all the roads that lead you there are winding, and all the lights that light the way are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. And maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my Wonderwall. Said baby, you're gonna be the one that saves me. haven't said enough. Consider this a hint of the century. Consider this the slip brought me to my knees. Failed, but in all these fantasies come flailing around. Now I have said too much. Haven't said enough. Thought that I heard you laughing. I thought that I heard you sing. I think I thought I saw you cry. That was just a dream. Try. That was just a dream, just a dream, just a dream.
Do one more. We should do Sister Golden Hair. Sister Golden Hair. Let me, no. Right, here we go. Sister. I got to search for it here. That last one, though. Hello, Sister. There we go. It's very common to do it just about over time. Great America song. The old song. Get the volume right, a little bit lower. And we'll try to get the intro here.
Well, I tried to make it Sunday, but I got so damn depressed. And I set my sights on Monday, and I got myself undressed. I ain't ready for the altar, but I do agree there's times when a woman sure can be a friend of mine. Well, I keep on thinking about you, Sister Golden Hair Surprise. And I just can't get without you. Can't you see it in my eyes? I've been one more correspondent. I've been too hard to find. But it doesn't mean ain't been on my mind. Will eyes, and I just can't live without you. Can't you see it in my eyes? I've been one more correspondent. I've been too hard to find, but it doesn't mean I ain't been on my mind. When you leave me in the middle, leave me in the bed. When you love me just a little, just enough to show you care. When I tried to fake it, I took my saying, I just can't make it.
Oh my God. I had a great time streaming today, though. I don't know if my voice was there. I don't know if anything is there. Stand by. But it doesn't matter. I entertained myself ultimately. Just give me a second here. But after running 2 hours and such minutes long, I'm always like, just end it and more tomorrow. It's a holiday tomorrow, holiday Monday. I don't have to do anything in particular. Let me take this beautiful guitar off here. It is a beautiful guitar. I'm still getting kind of used to it, but it's an awesome. It's a nice looking one at least. Okay, so yeah, we flew around. The ranch. We went to Victoria Falls. It's gonna be standard for a while, probably. We still gotta find those zebras, as we like to say. But plenty of streaming to do next time. I'm not gonna raid anyone today that I see in the musical category or somebody I personally know. Those are the only two cases. I'm just gonna say goodbye. But again, I had a fantastic time. I got a little bit of very, very, very tan, watered down Diet Coke. Let's just consume. Not bad. All right. See you guys next time. Thanks again. Oh, no, I forgot. Almost forgot. I'm so glad we had this time together just to have a laugh or sing a song. Seems we just get started, and before you know it, comes the time we have to say so long. Goodbye. Bye, Carol Burnett. If you're watching, good to see you. See you next time.